Hey guys, welcome yet to another episode of where you get to listen and learn and understand from our community perspective of exactly how to make the short-term rental work. Now, in this particular episode, what you're going to learn is something unique. I know many of you've questioned things like, hey, does this leasing strategy actually work? And you've been wondering, how on earth what happens if I lose my lease? What happens if the landlord changes their mind? Well, stay tuned to the end. You're going to get that answer. But also, you're going to see some very in-depth and detailed looks at how to maximize your revenue on a studio apartment and some of the photos that make the most sense and some that you can completely eliminate. At the end of the day, this is what we do. We're here to make sure that you have a shot at becoming a bigger, better, badder entrepreneur. So at the end, you get to go out there and spend all of the time that you want with your family. In fact, you're also going to hear from a student who is able to travel thousands of miles away, I'll say, and still be able to operate their business while in a completely different country. So if any of that is of interest to you, make sure that you only comment that you like, you share, so that other entrepreneurs can be created as well. Make sure you enjoy, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon. All right, people, how you doing? Hopefully things are going well. Got started a little bit later than we anticipated. Lots of extra little things to connect and make sure we're working today. You're going to see what some of those things are. And for those of you who are joining us just now, whether you're watching live or on YouTube, we're going to be doing a live listing review as well. Make sure, for those of you in the student group, post a listing, because we need somebody to put their listing there so we can go review it. And you're like, who is we? Well, as you know, Robert is back.
What's up, y'all?
So he's pretty excited about that.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what he says. Anyway, either way it goes, both of us are here today, so I think that's going to be pretty good. And we are going to do our best to make sure to give you all the information that you need to answer those questions, keep you moving forward, and making all the good stuff happen.
Yes, sir.
Where do we want to start today? Let's go there's a couple of other individuals that I want to introduce you to who are also here. So whether they're not really ready for this or not, but some of you know them, you've seen them.
Come on, I guess.
So what I want to make sure that you guys do is you have a chance to say hello to them as well. You're on that camera right there.
Awesome. Hey guys, how's it going? How's everybody doing?
So this is, for those of you who don't know, this is Ladero, and where's Chris? Chris is in Utah, Houston. So more students happen to be in the area. Figured, hey, why not have more people join us? And they were up the street, so to speak, and they said, hey, can we come and watch? And I'm like, sure, it's really crazy, but come on down. Here they are. So I thought this was pretty interesting. I wanted you guys to know that they're here too. So that doesn't mean you can just show up at my house. I just want to be really clear about that. All right. It was very special. Nonetheless, they're here as well. We're going to do our best to answer your questions. And if you've got a question for them, I'm fine with that too. So awesome. Let's get this started. Let's see. Right here. 1, 2. And then we go back to this view right there. Boom. All right, Rob, do we have anything yet?
It does not look like we have anything yet. I'm checking the final group on the mastermind. Oh, look at that.
There we go.
Look at that. We got some questions. And I got some tidbits. I've had lots of stuff happen to me the last couple of weeks, so I've got some tidbits.
You know what? Why don't you catch us up? Because here's the thing. Some people don't know that you just spent 10 days?
10 days, yeah.
10 days. Okay, 10 days.
10 days.
In a foreign country.
In a foreign country.
And you were still operating your business.
Still operating my business.
So tell us how that went. Because a lot of people would love to know, hey, can this business work long distance?
Absolutely. So I actually had the privilege of heading out to London, England. And I went on a trip with my son's soccer team and all their parents. And we loaded up a bus once we were in the country and drove all over the country on a sports tour. So in the matter of 10 days, we went nonstop between 5 hotels, 3 stadium tours, 2 professional games. The kids played 3 games. They had 2 trainings, and we did some kind of sightseeing through all that, including an entire day of walking in the rain at 35 degrees and pouring rain.
Look, kid, Big Ben's Parliament.
So I say all of that to say I didn't have a whole lot of time to actually sit down at my computer and do work. But that's okay, because I had the systems in place required to ensure that I didn't have to be in front of my computer all day, every day. And all honesty, I probably spent 10 minutes a day off and on.
10?
Handling reservation stuff. I still did all my own check-ins, so I used the Vivint security monitoring service, and so I set my check-ins up every day. But outside of that, I had people on the ground here that all had their marching orders. We have our messaging systems in place. When there's a question that they couldn't answer, they reached out to me. And everything else just kind of ran like clockwork. It's
awesome.
Pretty awesome.
I just want to make sure for everybody so that they all understand.
Yeah.
Especially the people watching on YouTube who have never met you.
Yes.
So how many listings do you have?
13.
13. So there's 13 of them. And now during that 10-day period, if you had to guess, how many turnovers did happen?
Probably 20.
20. So 20 turnovers. You're in a foreign country. If something went wrong, what was going to happen?
I would use Slack to message my on-the-ground QA runner. Mm-hmm. If he couldn't take care of it, then I would have used Slack again to message my cleaning crew, who's been very helpful.
Yep.
If they couldn't take care of it, then it's obviously something that the building owner would need to take care of. And I reached out to them. And it wasn't like things didn't go without hiccups.
Oh, okay.
There were hiccups.
Such as?
So, and those hiccups actually continued. They started before I left. They continued while I was gone. And that was actually the second thing that I wanted to share today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the second thing is, what do you do when I wanted to, but what do you do when you have a persistent pest problem? Gas is shut off for 7 days during the middle of a holiday.
I remember that.
You have a clogged pipe somewhere in the building and it decides that it wants to come up in one of your drains.
Yep.
You have doors that don't latch. You have people whose expectations weren't met.
What I expected.
They get chewed out by one of your neighbors because they parked in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Airbnb decides to fully refund all of them. I think there was 3 reservations over that time period.
Got it.
And then shut your account down for 5 days.
5 days because of the pest. Yep.
You have only 5 reviews on that listing because it's relatively new. Mm-hmm. The first 3 are all 5-star, very complimentary. And the next 2 that actually left reviews were a 1-star and a 3-star. And Airbnb says, it's time for you to take a break. We're going to shut you down. So what I did was I made sure I documented everything for the landlord so that he could understand how his management team did not respond in a proper manner, in a timely manner, to keep the home safe, habitable, and useful.
Yep.
And I basically negotiated with him free rent for the month of December.
Woohoo!
And that's on a typical lease of $2,400.
Yep.
Secondly, I decided...
You're going to make a lot of money this month. On that one, anyway.
Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully. The second thing I did was I decided that since it's a relatively young listing, young as in we started it in August, but because all of my reservations so far have been 4 weeks, 3 weeks of that nature, and not everyone has left a review, we only had, again, like I said, the 5 reviews, 2 of them very poor enough to where we fell below the Airbnb hosting standards, and they basically delisted us. We're currently in that delisting period. I found that it was a great opportunity and a great time to actually utilize my wife's account and create a new listing under that. So for those of you who are wondering, why did I do that? I did that so that the poor reviews are not tied directly to that listing, and so I could start getting new reservations more quickly. for those of you considering something like that, if you've been in a situation like that before, one thing you need to know is do not start the same listing under your current account, because it will get flagged and possibly have your whole account shut down. Secondly, the poor reviews don't go away. They actually stay associated to your account, but they're not associated to the specific listing. So essentially what I did is I created a brand new listing under my wife's account. I tied all of our business information and financials to her account as well. And then once that listing was created, I then made myself, my personal account, the co-host on it. And then from there, I went into Smart B&B, Turnover B&B, Lodgify, and Price Labs, and I reconnected all of those to my account to pull in that new listing. So essentially, it looks like I have a brand new listing, ready to rock and roll, with no poor reviews attached to it.
And for those of you who are already freaking out, you're like, what tool did he just say? Yeah,
I know. I did that on purpose.
I was like,
I thought he might freak out a little bit on that one.
Like, why he's stressing me out already?
There's some new tools to be used, and they're awesome.
Some new tools, yes, as you just heard. But for those of you wondering, a lot of us have begun. So you're going to manage your calendar with the tool called Lodgify. Go to cashflowdiary.com/manage calendar. We manage our messaging with a tool called Smart B&B, which is cashflowdiary.com/manage messaging. And then we're going to be talking about a tool today that is known as Turnover B&B, simply because I know that if many of you're in the process of switching away from Tokeet, which was what we were using previously to manage the calendar, then what it comes down to is you need a way to still stay in communication with your cleaning crew. Plus, some of you have not obeyed one of the beginning rules that I've always said, i.e. have more than one, i.e. a backup system. No single points of failures in your system become a challenge. Therefore, what that simply means is that you must have a way to acquire extra cleaners should you need them on a moment's notice, and that's part of what we will be sharing with you, a way that we have been able to do so to diversify the risk, or more or less eliminate the risk when and or if your cleaning crew decides that they no longer want to clean, or you're not happy with the cleaning that they are doing in and of themselves. Now, I saw that there was a ton of comments, and I see a number of you who are here. Let me see who I can say hi to. Russell, how are you doing? Maria, what's up? Danny, Isabella, yes, it is a party over here today. Let me see who else was there. Hey Curtis, hey Jay, how are you? Mike, Jaleesa, what's going on? And Susan, how are you? And for those of you who are like, man, I want to join the party, feel free to go to cashflowdiary.com/mastery, especially those of you watching on YouTube, because hey, we want the more the better. The more the better. No, the more the merrier.
The mo better.
The mo better.
It's the mo better.
The mo better merrier. Yeah, there we go. That works out. Because at the end of the day, we have begun, and we believe we are we're the largest, most educated, most advanced for sure, group of operators currently available that can help you grow your business to 7 figures in probably record time that you're not expecting. And at the end of the day, we're here to help everybody get across that finish line, whatever that finish line looks like for each and every one of you. So, do we have
questions?
We
do.
Yes.
Sarah Kingston asks, hey guys, I saw a spot on Lodgify where you can register for a domain name for free.
Yeah.
Is there a catch for doing that? Like, I won't be able to use it outside of Lodgify if we ever move away from them or something.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that 100%. So while we haven't had the orientation class yet, but I am scheduling that. I was talking with our rep over in Spain. No, he's in UK, but the company's in Spain. Try not to get confused. Anyway, I was talking with him to arrange the time for the orientation. What it comes down to is that you don't want to control. Again, you want to control certain things in turn your business. Your domain name is definitely one of them. You want to own it.
Yes.
It's very similar to, like, for example, this Facebook group or even the YouTube channel. We, Cashflow Diary, we don't own anything on that platform, which is one of the reasons why we always encourage you guys to hit us up and get on the email list. Because if for whatever reason you wake up tomorrow, YouTube goes away, Facebook shuts down, two things which I think are associated with the end of the world. But if either of those things happen, we still want to have a way to communicate with each other and with you, and that's where having access to your emails are important, and making sure we have your most updated email becomes important, so that we can still continue to communicate with you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So the same is true here, except it's that much more important because you've got a 7-figure business that has a single point of failure, that being Logify owning your domain name. That's a problem should Logify ever become a software company that gets behind the times. And, it's never going to happen that we'll need to switch software companies, right?
Never. 3 times in 15 months.
Never. That's not going to happen. So to hedge against that risk, you don't want them you don't want to have what is called the pain of change. You don't want to be stuck because you're stuck, right? You want to still be able to be flexible. Again, it's another reason why we lease the property as opposed to own the property, especially at the beginning, so that you can hedge your bets, hedge your risk, be flexible if need be. I mean, and for those of you who've ever been to California, I still rent. Why? Because it's stupid expensive. I mean, these guys, they see the neighborhood that I'm in right now. And does it look like $1 million homes to you? Do they really look like $1 million? No, not comparatively.
How much they probably cost?
Yeah, but that's the
crazy scary.
That's the problem. They don't look like what $1 million home looks like from where they're from,
and they're not built with the materials that $1 million home should be built with. No.
But that again, it's hedging your risk, and you want to do that same thing with your business. You don't want to put yourself in a situation on something as important as a domain name.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to give them a quick story, and then you can talk about it. Because here's where I'm coming from. There's a domain name. I even hate to admit this right now, but I did this with this. I made this mistake, and you can go look up how much this mistake cost me. I trusted an individual to register a domain name. That domain name, believe it or not, was raisingprivatecapital.com. And long story short, that particular person has that domain name. I do not. I should have it, but I don't. That domain name in and of itself, we were able to acquire for the really large price of $10. But if you go look up the value of that domain name today, let's just say it's more than $10. But again, is it worth the headache that to your business to actually have to try to get control over what actually becomes an asset? I don't think you want to put that. I think I've underscored the point enough, but just don't. I wouldn't do that. I would go get my own domain name. Yes, it's going to be technically more difficult to get set up, but it's worth the trouble. Go ahead.
That's the exact point I was about to make, actually. So I like purchasing my domains through Google. So domains.google.com. Super easy to purchase and incredibly easy to then manage the site itself. But it's $12 a year. And then if you want to add an email associated to that, it's $5 a month for email, which I highly recommend as well. And then it's for me, it's my email is rob@romiliving.com. Romy Living is our STR business.
You realize you're not a spam, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. I love you guys. I appreciate you.
Here they go. I can hear the spam coming on.
But it's totally worth it. And obviously, most people are really familiar with the Gmail platform. That's what you're going to end up using. So it's only, like I said, $12 a year for the domain, $5 a month for the email address, and you own it outright. So definitely do that. And then Sarah, it was very easy for me to then take that domain and set it up on Logify's system. I probably got all of our listings, all 13 listings created, and then connected to Airbnb, and then published on a website within 9 hours of work over the course of 2 days. And obviously, the website is something I'm still continually working on making better. There's lots of things I want to add to it, but the bare bones, the bare minimum is there.
You realize you said 9 hours of work?
9 hours total.
Somebody just mentally quit.
Well, maybe that's because I have a slower upload rate on my home internet. Maybe you could do it in 6 hours.
I still think somebody quit. They did,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's okay. I think that's okay. So if you want to come and talk to us live, feel free to go to cashflowdiary.com/live link. Do we have another question?
We've got questions, and we have, as Jay mentioned early on when we started, we are doing 1 or 2 live listing reviews. If you have not had your listing reviewed by us before, please post it in the comments. I see Russell has added one on. Danny Neds has added a couple. Maria Newton has one in there. And do you want to do one of those now?
Sure, we totally can. However, I will say this to be very, very clear. If you are sensitive, you may not want us to review your listing because we're not known for pulling punches. We're going to tell you exactly how we see it because at the end of the day, we want you to make more money. Because being, nice and pulling punches isn't going to help you get to the level that you want. And hopefully you're excited about that. I know we are, but at the end of the day, if you are sensitive, you may want to cover your ears.
Yeah. Disclaimer is always truth and love. We love you guys. We want you to make more money,
But you might not like some of the things we say.
Correct.
Okay, so Russell was the first one to pop it in there, so I'm going to say let's go to his.
All right, sounds great. I'm going to pull up on the phone.
He's pulling up on the phone. I am pulling it up now, and he can switch over to that.
Yep. Okay, there we go.
All right. So first thing let's hop into some of the pictures and look at that.
That's the first picture?
That is the first picture,
Okay,
123.
I don't even need to look at the rest of this to know that you have the wrong first picture, my friend.
Okay.
That's the first thing. It's photographed well, but here's the challenge. The angles are not, or this is not the right angle of this room.
Correct.
At all.
I would agree with that. I think there's a lot of things that are awesome about this room that can be featured in this room, but that angle is not one of them.
While it's executed well, it's the wrong photo, man.
I would say, though, on a positive note, and I'm sure we'll see this in the rest of the photos, he's using natural light. The windows are wide open. He has all the lights on in the house, so that's a good thing. That's a positive.
Yeah, great photographic technique.
Yep.
Just wrong kind of photo.
Yep.
Again, same thing.
I actually want rooms like this, so this is basically a hotel. Yeah.
This is a
studio, uptown studio.
Yeah, I can live with that. Okay.
Yeah, this is exactly like the. I think I told you we went on a soccer tournament with my son a few months ago, and I have pictures of a room that's almost exactly like this.
Got it. That's
okay.
Not bad. It's okay.
It's not bad. Shows everything. Okay, so here's what I would do, and I don't know if I'm going to see this in the next pictures or not, but if I'm going to get a picture of the kitchen area, this photo's fine, but I would also add on straight-on shots, and I would add shots with the doors and cupboards open and show some of the detail in the kitchen of what people can actually use when they get there. So this is the perfect time of year where people are going to ask, do you have XYZ? I'm planning on cooking my holiday dinner there. And so if you don't show it, they don't know. And they're going to ask that question. They're either going to ask that question, and you're going to be answering way more email than you want to, or they're not going to ask the question because they're not considering your home anymore because another listing is showing that detail.
100. I'm beginning to see a starking lack of color. So I'm beginning to wonder about design choices.
Yep. Like in this bathroom picture, for instance, I would expect some type of picture above the towels.
Yeah.
I do see that you have toiletries, so that's good. I like toiletries.
Hey, Justice, you need to go.
Oh, we got a little one with us. Justice, come on, pick him up. Say hi. Later, dude.
Believe me, he'll be back.
Love you, buddy.
It's all good. Let's keep going.
Most awesome kid on the planet. He's awesome. So the toiletries are good. One thing I don't like, again, though, we keep seeing the same angle of the pictures.
Correct.
And it actually makes it look distorted. Like this.
Yeah, because so what Robert's referring to, so I'll tell you what was happening here. Here was used a wide angle lens it looks like a wide angle zoom lens if I'm going to be accurate. And that's why you're seeing the bending in the walls.
Yes, and it's washed out too.
And you're seeing the bending at the sink. You're seeing things that skew the actual what's there. In short, don't use a wide angle lens.
Yep.
Don't use a fisheye lens. or a lens that is a wide-angle zoom to fisheye lens. That's what happened here.
And Russell, to put this in perspective, what's going to happen is you're going to have a guest show up, and they're going to use a comment like, there's nothing really wrong with the apartment. It's just not what I expected. Which you say, what am I supposed to do with that? You can't do anything with that. But the problem is you're not going to make them happy either. So you can either, if they choose they want to cancel, you can enforce your moderate cancellation policy, which I'm assuming you have on here, or whatever policy you have. And in which case, you're probably going to get a poor review. Whether what they say in the review is true or not is irrelevant. Or you can just give them their money back, get them out, and get your calendar open and move on. That's a lesson that I've been learning lately. Yeah. I need to be more willing just to let them move on. Yep. But in a picture like this, the bathroom looks bigger than I'm sure it actually is.
Yep. That's part of the wide angles. That's what happens when you're using a wide angle.
So moving on.
Okay.
I would love to see...
That's a better first image.
Yes, this is much better first image. That said...
Why is the blue still... Oh, no, go ahead.
The first time I see this picture, I would rather see it with the doors closed where the washer and dryer are.
Agreed.
And then you can open up that door and show a closer picture of the washer and dryer.
I'm also wondering about the lighting in the room because it seems like the track lighting seems to stop. Like it just flat stops. Like what's the lighting on?
Oh, yeah, it's all pointed towards the kitchen and then going the other way. Is that what you mean?
Yep.
Okay.
Keep going.
They have two lamps, but they had the lamps on before and now they're off. I do like how you hid the cables. I prefer to have the cables in the wall, but if they're not going to be in the wall, this is the next best thing.
And they're using a mini split, which is also smart.
Yes, I love mini splits.
I love them. I'm questioning about your dining area though, because you only have a seat for two. So how many people is this for?
Yep.
This is probably the best photo we've seen thus far and should be the first one, period. Now, there's only one small technical issue that's really bugging me is the reflection in the television. If you can get somebody to address that,
post-production, get a designer and can adjust that for you. That's probably 20 minutes of work for him.
But outside of that, this is a better first photo. Much better. What?
That's the same bathroom, I believe. Especially since the studio, it's probably is the exact same bathroom.
All right.
Yeah, I would say definitely get some color in there.
Yeah. That's the same story. You don't need this photo again, although you are telling about the whole thing there. Okay, so if you're going to do this, give it the exact same angle as the last one so that it's clear what you're showing us. Because right now it's confusing because of the angle change.
Do I remember seeing a bed in the other pictures? Up against the wall next to the television?
What? No.
Let's see.
Where?
No, I can't scroll. Is there more than one bed in here is what I'm really asking. Or is that the bed?
There was I do remember seeing something of a bed. Yeah, like over here.
Okay, so to go back to what he said a moment ago regarding the bistro table. If you're going to have a space that can fit four people, have dining for 4 people.
Yeah, this is for 2. Unless that table articulates, but...
I don't think it does. Nah, I would just
I'm talking about the living room table.
Oh, got it.
And again, why is the living room table slanted? Because it looks like it's slanted there.
It's the photo angle.
Is it? Yeah, I'm like, is the angle off again?
Yeah. You look like you have an obtuse shape.
Don't be doing that. All right, let's keep going.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we didn't see the bed before.
I thought we saw a bed.
There's all kinds of trickery going on here. There we go.
Okay.
And toiletries, I like it.
Okay.
Specifics, I like it. Oh, someone went to Costco. I know all that stuff. It's a steamer. It's a clothes steamer. Oh. I actually started using those instead of the big giant one that I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I like that. That's kind of cool. So I love what you're doing here. You're showing all the specific things that a guest is going to have access to when they come to your home.
That's interesting. They have place settings for 4, but seating.
They have place settings for 6.
But seating for 2.
Correct.
That's funny.
And now 4 on the glasses.
But now you only have...
Well, no, there's 6 there, but there's 4 coffee mugs.
Yes, I was only looking at the coffee ones because those are the only ones that matter.
Yep.
Right? I mean, you know how people are in their coffee.
Rise and shine, it's coffee time.
Okay, that's not bad. I get that.
Okay. I like it.
Love it.
Okay, I love the detailed pictures. In terms of order of things, I would pair things in groupings. So when you first show the kitchen earlier, then show these things. Show the bed or the bathroom. Show everything that goes with the bed, everything that goes with the bathroom together. I like it. Yes, we did see another bed. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, I told you there was. I don't know where it came. Where did it go? Was it a Murphy bed?
It folds up. Yeah, it folds up into the wall.
Okay, so now we have something. See, you're giving me new things. I want to see this shot
from head on,
straight on.
Yep, me too.
With both beds out, even.
Yes,
because that
says we can sleep 4.
Well, yeah, that's totally different.
And here's how.
Yeah.
Because again, at the end of the day, Russell, it's about eliminating questions that can be solved in your listing.
Oh, and I see the lighting now. It's up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So those are the photos. Hopefully, we gave you enough feedback, and that's helpful to you.
Russell? Be honest. Because I say I didn't use it, or you
please say yeah,
and that's okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because remember, we're saying you're not the one saying I used my wife. It's us so she can be mad at us.
You can be mad at us.
Okay.
But I'm seeing lots of grays and blues, which that screams bachelor pad to me.
And nothing on the walls.
Nothing on the walls.
So I'm like, I know.
Except for the design thing with the bed, which I really like those. So why didn't you do more things like that throughout the unit?
It's like they had moments of inspiration.
Welcome to our sweet and simple studio apartment. I like it. Okay, cool. So let's go into the details of the listing.
All right.
Stop
it. Studio.
Oh, 2 guests. Wait a minute. You have it listed for 2 guests, but you have sleeping for 2 to 4, I guess, unless each person's only using 1 bed.
That's strange. Why are you not taking advantage of that?
Yeah, I mean, and when he says advantage of that, he's talking about revenue opportunity.
At 100.
Let's see how many guests we can actually have in there. 2 guests maximum. Infants don't count. So I'm going to put in a couple of dates here. 17th to the 20th. And let's see if I can add. No, I can't even add more than 2.
Yeah, that's interesting, dude.
So Russell, I would love if you go back into the comment where you posted the link to this, or actually better yet, what's the live listing or the live link?
Cashflowdiary.com/live link.
Cashflowdiary.com/live link. If you're on right now, you're still listening, go to that URL. So we can ask you some live questions about your listing. I'd love to know about your choices and why you made those choices. Because right now, personally, we have a bunch of studios in Long Beach, and we allow up to 4 people in those studios.
5 on one of them.
That's scary.
I have a queen bed. It works out.
How many complaints have you had? None?
But now it's been a lot of families.
Got it.
Like a whole bunch of adults.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's basically a hotel room with a kitchenette.
Sure.
In that case, I sleep 4 in my hotel rooms all the time. Me, my wife, and my 2 kids. And if that were a short-term rental, both of those kids would cost $20 a night in my market. Maybe it's $10 or $15 a night in your market. But the point is, there's revenue being left on the table that you otherwise could be collecting on.
100%. Not only that, if you're having occupancy issues, it could be simply because people don't think they can have enough people stay there. Like, I bet you would crush it with 3 guests. I bet you would have like an average 2.7 type of thing, guests per reservation. And you're just missing 20, 15, 20 extra dollars per reservation per night. Don't like that. All right, so let's go back to the title though.
Okay.
Uptown Studio. I don't know that I like those. I don't like Uptown Studio Apartment. You're putting it in the most valuable spot of the title. I don't know that I care about any of those things.
Well, so let me play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Supposing the person he wants to serve is the traveling professional, and Uptown is the place where all the businesses are.
Okay.
Got him.
Sure. But studio apartment? Still wasted characters.
Okay. Is there another way he could write it?
I don't think studio or apartment matter.
Uptown? Really?
No.
You wouldn't put like Uptown Studio?
No. I don't think you need the word studio at all.
Okay.
I don't think that matters at all.
Great. So how would you change it then? I personally would leave Uptown in there. So if we left Uptown, what else would we add? Okay.
But studio apartment is character in the tilde. Like, really? So we don't need those in there. We can move those and put something else in there. Like the fact that he can freaking sleep 4 people is way more important than studio apartments.
Yep. I'd agree with that.
Especially at the price point that you're going to be compared at. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. If you have a service that you provide, like Netflix, Hulu, or anything like that, which is listed down here, I just don't know if it is provided or if you just have access to those apps in the TVs. If you actually provide something like Netflix, I'd rather have that than the washer dryer. And when you remove studio apartment,
you get more room.
You'll have the space for that. And the reason I'd remove washer and dryer, because I'm guessing in a studio with 2 people, that's not typically a huge need. And if you're going to address it right away in the first paragraph, which it looks like you do, then that has that covered. The fact that it's a walk score of 77, I would definitely have that inside the title.
There's so many more things.
Uptown, walk score 77, blazing Wi-Fi, dedicated parking.
Yeah. Okay. Now we can keep going. You've made the point.
Yep.
Now I don't necessarily like the formatting of the fact of what, like, you've got lots of what you're near. Like, for example, Mall of America would be something I'm assuming people would be looking for. Let me rephrase. I want to go to the Mall of America. I still have not been. If I was coming to your area, Russell, I'd be looking for something near the Mall of America. It doesn't jump out at me, but because I'm taking the time to read it, I see Mall of America. You may even want to think about how you can elevate or make that stand out a little bit more. Because right now, that big block of text is a big block.
Yeah. One of the things I would do to break up the block of text and perhaps make the listing more friendly to the eye is to use the icons that we shared a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago now. I can resend or reattach the link to this post later when we're not live. I need to get it off my own personal computer, but it would allow you to, instead of just using the bullets or the arrows and or the squiggly lines in your title, to use icons that are going to make it stand out more when it's among a big search results page of listings, and when people actually get into the listing, it makes it a little bit easier to read.
Yep.
I do like what you called out as far as for business travelers. You were specific about that. Printers, clothing iron, steamer, basic toiletries provided. Compliments of your host. That sounds like you were looking at one of my listings. That's okay. Dedicated off-street parking. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Does that just mean dedicated parking spot? 20 steps to building entrance. I like that. Okay.
Maybe.
Guest access, interaction with guests. Other things to note.
That looks good. Let's go to the amenities.
Yep. Okay. Amenities 30. Show all 36.
Okay. Yep. That's good. Free parking on premises and free street parking. Okay. That kind of makes sense.
Yep. Room darkening shades. I like that. Hey, Russell, do us all a favor. If you like the actual room darkening shades that you have, better yet, if they're blackout shades, post a link in the commentary so we can know where to find them and where to get them. Because I do get that from time to time with my rentals. Okay, kitchen, coffee maker. Yep. It's hitting everything there. Guests, lockbox, private entrance. Okay, logistics, long-term stays allowed. Bed and bath, hangers, dryer, bed linens, excellent. Safety features, fire extinguisher, carbon monoxide, smoke detector, first aid kit. Excellent. Let's see what I didn't see in there. And I did not see.
Sleeping arrangements? Here we are again.
Oh, look at that. The sleeping arrangements. You only have one common space sofa bed. So you're missing a bed there.
The other bed.
Whether or not you allow extra guests or not beyond 2, you still have to have both beds listed, or you should have both beds listed.
Why would you do that? Like,
It was just an oversight. It was just an oversight.
Are you sure? Because it's starting to feel like it's kind of intentional. Like he's intentionally trying not to do something. And I don't know what that is.
If you go to cashflowdiary.com/live listen,
No, it's not there. I'm looking at
well, yeah, Russell, come on, man.
it's like he's intentionally saying, I don't want more money.
Accessibility. Okay.
Ooh, okay. All right. I get what you. I get that you've marked some things here, and that's great. I'm just gonna say, genuinely, even when our units qualify in this category, I still don't mark anything in them because you know how people are.
Well, no, people who need it, they need all of it. They don't need some of it.
Right. Correct.
I have a friend who is wheelchair bound, and he came to town, and I said, "Oh, next time you're in town, let me know. I'd love to host you." And then he pointed out the fact that I was completely forgetting about like his specific needs. And when I told him, "Oh yeah, there's no steps and there's wide doorways," and he's like, "Yeah, but how am I going to get in and out of the shower?" I'm like, "Oh, good point.
My bad."
Right. Total ignorance on my part.
Right. So yeah, even when I have some, I mark none because I don't even want to give them the hope that we might somehow it might work.
Yeah.
I just mark none. But that, again, that's a choice for you. If you are set up to deal with it, great. Let's keep going though.
All right. Oh, brand new listing. No reviews yet. Okay.
All the more reason to. Never mind. I'm going to keep saying the same thing. Like he's leaving money on the table, Rob. Make it stop.
All right. Let's see. Neighborhood, Russell's home. Oh, he actually doesn't add that. They add that. Okay. So policies. Let's look at the rules here. No pets, no smoking parties, events, check-ins, 4, checkouts, 11, self-check-in with lockbox, quiet hours, 10 to 8. You must acknowledge security deposit. If you damage the home, you may charge up $250, surveillance or recording devices on property, doorbell, video, camera. Russell, I am seeing lots of opportunity to protect yourself and add to your house rules. I'm not seeing that right now.
He didn't just copy the ones we've already given everybody?
No, the ones that we give to everyone is about another 10 or 15 line items beyond that.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Go to one of my listings and just copy paste.
Search inside the Facebook group. The reason we create the resources is to help so that you don't end up exposing yourself in certain ways that we've already discovered suck. So yeah, just think about that.
Let's see. Moderate cancellation policy.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. That's good. What's the full details? Oh, that's just going to pull up a generic page.
Okay. I think we're good there. Let's go back to some of these other questions because it's almost, we got
all right, Russell, hopefully that was helpful. Go forth and conquer.
Let's do rapid fire. Let's get through as many questions as we possibly can. Doesn't mean we don't love you, just means we want to actually get it done.
Okay, Mastery Group John Williams says, okay, since we're talking turnover B&B, how do you recommend we configure settings? Clean based on check-in or check-out, window of 3 days or days of.
Got it. You clean based on check-out and you clean day of. Always. Period.
Yes.
There is no other option.
And as far as configuring settings, we will probably have a dedicated live stream or video coming to you shortly.
Yes.
I won't define what shortly actually means, but it's on the radar. It will get done.
Yes, we know.
Outside of that, John, if you've already jumped in there and started playing around with it, you will find that it is very intuitive, easy to understand. The biggest thing that you need to worry about is getting your listings into the system and making sure that you are sharing it with your cleaner or whoever is going to be managing the scheduling of your cleanings for your units.
Rebecca's got a good point. She said, if you're building a brand, remember to get the domain, Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube, etc. She's 100% right. So, again, don't buy your domain from Lodgify. Go ahead.
Yeah. Dave sent it. It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
I know exactly what you're referring to because I started singing the song in my head whenever you said what it was that he said.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Yeah, I know the song, but when I said that would have.
I don't remember, but yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, if there's any more in here, Rita Lynn. Here we go.
Okay, go.
I know we have some issues with Lodgify.
What is it?
Sorry, this is a dramatic reading. Here we go. I know we have some issues with Lodgify, okay? Should I load up the Lodgify with the properties now, or should I wait for the orientation?
Got it. Now. Always now.
I don't have any problems with Logify, so I don't know what we're talking about.
So if there's anything, you're going to get more out of the orientation by going ahead and getting started now because you have way more specific questions as opposed to
Context.
Generic. What do you say? And at the end of the day, Logify is not actually that difficult.
No, it's not at all. And better yet, they actually have a learning module built into the website. So if you click around somewhere near the question mark, it's like a little bell with the question mark at the top right corner of the page after you are logged in. And then I believe it's the knowledge base, it's called, or the learning center. There's a get starting. There's basically 5 modules to getting started, and it walks you through sequentially what you should be doing step by step. Don't jump ahead. Do step by step. You'll be loaded up, no problem. The only hiccup I had was between Airbnb professional syncing versus Airbnb basic. The main difference is the basic is iCal based. It's only going to be syncing the calendars. It's not going to be pulling any of the other data from Airbnb. The reason I did the iCal sync, the basic instead of the pro, was because I actually couldn't do the pro. So there are certain geographies where Airbnb prohibits anyone from syncing their API to a channel manager. It just so happens that I operate in a couple of those geographies. So I actually had to use the basic setup. But because we use Smart BNB for messaging and Turnover BNB for cleaning, I don't need the professional API sync. The basic iCal sync is more than enough.
Additionally, for those of you who are thinking about the whole pricing situation, your pricing isn't going to change. You're going to connect pricing direct to from say your Price Labs or your Usual House straight on over to the platform for now. You do not, let me say this again really clearly, do not connect your pricing to Logify. Well, you can't, but you don't want Logify controlling your pricing as of yet, except for the pricing on your website, obviously for now.
Yes.
There is an upgrade coming to which you will have the ability to, through the channel managers, to make all this work more smoothly, where you can then connect to Logify, and Logify then manages the pricing in that regard. So just stay tuned for how we're going to connect that all together. But for now, you do not do that. Do not do that at all.
I love it, Isabella. Hey, Robert, you're awesome, but too close to the microphone.
Yeah, I was messing with
I love it. Thank you.
I've been getting some of your messages about the audio. I've been actually playing audio engineer at the same time, trying to keep everything in the greens and not the reds you were peaking. That's basically what it was.
Got it. Okay. Is there anyone out there who is not using doorbell cameras on their units? That question comes from Isabella as well.
I have 8 units that currently do not have a doorbell camera, but there are cameras on the property. So just because you may not have a camera on the doorbell doesn't mean you have no camera visible or on site.
Always have a camera.
So yeah.
And in addition to always having a camera, make sure that the fact that you have a camera is always listed in your listing.
100.
Okay. We've got more listings.
Keep going. That sounds like still systems. Hey Robert, is that apartment in the building that is new to you? I think they're talking about Normandy.
Yes. New to me as in it was August is when I set it up. And there's another operator there right now. The owner is not new to us. He is working with multiple short-term rental operators in the LA area. They have multiple buildings. So they're familiar with how we work. But the issues that I was facing was a byproduct of the owner needing to currently live out of state for a short period of time, which was not originally planned, and he's having some issues with his management team. So he's working through that, and I am being understanding of that because I see a much larger opportunity down the road.
Keep going. How do you get your walk score? I think is what
walk. Yeah. So Veronica, go to walkscore.com.
If you go to if you want to,
let's just do it.
Flip over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll bring that up.
All right. So going to
there you go.
walkscore.com. airbnb.com, and let's put in an address. This is really simple. The first thing you see is a search bar. Add an address on there. Do you want to put one of your buildings in, or?
I'm gonna make up an address that I think is in Utah because their addresses are really stupid.
Oh my goch, I hate their addresses.
600 South, 400 West. Is that, am I close?
You're really close.
It is 600 South, 400 West. I'm not kidding.
Is it Draper or Salt Lake City? What is it?
Salt Lake City. Their addresses are so crazy. It's like, what is that?
I'm surprised it didn't pop up, so let's see if this one works.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's just how they do it out there.
Okay, perfect. It worked. So this is the service walk score.
You just totally pick some random two numbers, and it works.
Which has a great walk score of 76.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I aim to be a 70s and above.
I don't know what that is.
Obviously, it makes it very walkable. In other words, people can walk out of the apartment and find restaurants and stores and cafes and shops and things that they can do on foot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was fun. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Russell was listening on his iPhone. No problem, Russell. So now we understand why he didn't join us live. Because, again, it's any Chrome browser not on an iOS device.
Yep. And switch on the...
It's all good. What's that? Oh, switch to me.
Yep. Okay. Let's see.
What else we got? Is
Joe
that
Klima.
Yes, that is Ladero that you keep seeing in the corner right there, and Chris as well. That is correct.
All right, let's go back to the mastery group.
Okay.
Russell, okay. I'll make all the changes you suggested. Thanks for the feedback. Beginning my conquering.
Hey, we're just trying to put more money in your pocket. That's all we're saying.
Also, I have a 5-unit building on my radar. Owners like the idea of me being their tenant.
Yes.
Can you talk about creating a master lease with all 5 units on it versus 5 separate leases? Also, what about an 18-month lease with a first option to renew? Tackle it.
One, you don't want to put, again, single points of failure. A master lease is a single point of failure. One, it's more beneficial, in my opinion, for you as well as for the landlord, especially if there's any sort of financing involved, for you to have separate leases. You're like, dude, I don't want to sign it 5 times. Don't be lazy. Let's just do it. All right. And then second, you as well as them would want to stagger those leases. You don't want them to all end on the exact same day, because that could be a challenge for you. Like, what if they all end on the same day? You now have to move all 5 of those simultaneously. That could be a challenge. Now, I'm not saying that there's some benefits to moving everything at once, but there's also the, like, where you're going to move it to and how do you get the new units started. I like the idea of staggering my leases. So a lot of my leases that are in the exact same building where we're starting, they're actually staggered. That doesn't mean they all are. I know I have one building right now where 5 are all the same. Of the 8, 5 are the same. 5 are on one and 3 are on the other, but there's still 8. How many fingers are in for that? There we go. 8 separate.
He's still learning.
Leases at the same time. So I wouldn't try to do anything different. Just do the same lease. Keep it simple. That many different times.
How far is your staggering?
The staggering is 1 month apart.
Okay.
Yep. Veronica asks, who do you have watch all the videos made by the camera at properties if you don't have the time? So,
creating a job for somebody.
Yep. It's 2 phases.
What do you mean?
So I think it's a job for a VA.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's part of their daily task list.
Do you know how much you'd have to pay an American to do that?
Yeah. It's part of their daily task list. And they should do it actually multiple times a day at check-in and check-out.
Oh my God.
That said, if you are at the stage where you're not ready for a VA yet, then you don't necessarily... I personally check it whenever I think something is up, and that's based on partly intuition of being in the business long enough, partly on...
know when they're being fishy.
Yeah, you just know when they're being fishy. They ask ridiculous questions, or they're checking in late, then the very next morning I may check to see how many people really checked in.
Yep.
And this is 30 seconds.
Yep.
So, per listener.
You can't have a pet iguana. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So that is it for the mastery group.
That's the student group.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mastermind group. The mastery group. That's all for the mastery group as well.
Is his name Font? That's neat.
And there is nothing in the cash flow creator set. Jaleesa said, "Hey guys, what's up, Jaleesa?"
What up? Excellent. So, with all of those things being said, the one thing I do want to address, I know a number of you've been taking advantage of the discounts that we got on the linens. We've gotten feedback from the vendor. There's one small update and a very large question, which we're going to get to. So one small update there. So it's cashflowdiary.com/silky sheets. It's actually a two-step process that we were not aware of. So that's number one. It's cashflowdiary.com /silky sheets. That's step number one to the discount. Step number two is when you get to the checkout page, you actually have to enter Cashflow Diary 15 because you have a 15% discount. No, so don't go in trying to do Cashflow Diary 25. It's not going to suddenly give you a 25% discount. It's a 15% discount. Cashflow Diary 15. But you have to do both of those because that coupon only works if you click our link, and if you don't put in the coupon, if you don't put in the actual discount code, you also won't get it. So yeah. We thought it was simple, but it's not.
That was Lodify, you said?
That was the sheets, linens.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was the linens.
Got it.
Yep.
So I have a question or a statement from Steve McBride, and then I'm actually going to put it in the form of a question for you for the address, because I think it is going to affect multiple people within the group.
Okay. I didn't do it, not my fault.
So the statement is, reading through a lease agreement that says under no circumstance are you to rent space in your home for rental by any short-term or transient occupants, including advertising on Airbnb and other locator sites. And as a violation of this lease, we know for a fact there are multiple Airbnb listings on the property. I welcome your thoughts. So I will put this in the form of a question. What happens when you are in a property where the community manager was very friendly to your operations and rented several units to you and several other short-term rental operators, and then corporate comes out of nowhere and says, we're laying the hammer down and we're not renewing any of your leases? How would you address that?
Got it. So if you're like, you want to be in places where it's friendly. You always want to have an amicable relationship is the best way I like to put it. At the end of the day, the law of the land is the lease, right? Especially when the ordinances don't say one way or the other. It comes down to the agreement that you have with the, in this case, corporation or landowner. This is one of the reasons why I've consistently said you want to build your business around away from REITs or even syndications, etc. Now, when this happens, it's just time for a conversation at the end of the day, because there's a corporate version of what we're talking about, and then there's the residential version of what we're talking about. Here's what I mean. 9 times out of 10, the language, again, obviously I'm not your financial advisor, attorney, accountant, any of those things, but understand that the language is primarily meant for those who are intending to occupy the space. By definition, you signed a corporate lease. They know from the beginning, we're not planning on staying there, okay? We are not planning on staying there at any way, shape, or form. Now, the issue comes down to client acquisition. The question becomes, who can stay there, which if they're open to other people staying there, then it's down really to, do they have a concern with client acquisition? I have had property managers and community managers, I guess is the best word that we're using right now, straight up say to me, we don't care how you acquire your customers. That's between you and your customer. What we don't want, and usually this is the concern, is that they're concerned about us either not properly screening, that's number one, or number two, us making sure that they have some semblance of control or know whom is actually going to be there, because they don't want us trying to get rid of the responsibility. So we've handled these things, and you have some of these documents. For those of you who are inside the mastermind group, you know what I'm talking about when I say the operator responsibility letters, or landlord letters. We have many ways of addressing those concerns, but they need to be addressed. But then comes the point, well, Jay, what happens if/when corporate changes their mind? Well, you get the privilege of dealing with that. That's how the relationship is. The relationship is contingent on corporate saying, yeah, it's okay. And if they say okay one day, there's nothing, literally nothing, preventing them from changing their mind the next. And you need to be set up and prepared to make whatever shift and or change can be required. Have I had to move units before? Was it fun? Nope. Does the business still work? Yes. And at the end of the day, that's one of the many reasons why I've constantly said you always want to be developing your landlord base. You never want a single point of failure. You don't want anyone. So let's pretend you built your entire business with mom and pop landlords. Okay, owner direct. Let's pretend you built your entire business that way. You still want to be diversified, not against just one owner. Say you find the one guy in your town who's got 200 units. That's great. But you still, what happens when he or she changes their mind? What happens when that owner dies? What happens when he gets a divorce or she gets a divorce? All of these things can mess with the stability of your business, and diversification is the only protection all of us have against the lease model. You have that same issue whether it comes to regulations, right? In any particular area. These are all things that we are guarding against by leasing and diversification so that you can still continue to build a business. Now, once you switch over to the ownership path, reference that other Q&A or that video that we did a special live stream. Because we have some of our students who actually own the buildings, and in this case, ordinances changed on them. And we did the whole 30-40 minutes of what happened in Anaheim for those who own the building. Because once you move over to that ownership, then things totally change at that particular moment. But at the end of the day, that is one of the fundamental weaknesses/risks that we are willing to assume. And what I am still saying to you is that it still makes sense. You just have to be prepared for what that change could mean and when that change. Now, the best situation when this occurs that you're hoping for, because what you don't want is a 3-day notice to quit. That sucks. Yes, been there. But what you do want, what you do want is they're just going to non-renew. If it's a non-renewal, okay, you usually have time to prepare for that non-renewal. And that's really what you want. And if you've got a situation where your renewal is like you just found out that you were going to the office to go get a renewal done, then what you want to negotiate is, hey, can you give us 60 days? Can we go on a month for 60 days? That'll give us time to adequately do what we need to do. Because you've taken the risk with us this far. You've seen how we operate. And understand, I've had many community managers come to me and say, I don't know what the problem is, because you guys have been great. Because you deal with your problems. If you have a problem, no one's partying. This is working out really good. The leasing agents always love us. Community managers always love us. It's always some unknown or perceived issue or fear. Now, with all that being said, one of the things that we're in the process of doing, I should say, by we, I mean me, is I'm aware of a community in our local area that is going through something like this, and we're intending on communicating with them directly to see what we can work out, because I don't think they really understand. Because one of the things that I've said and still say that is missing in the entire industry is an understanding that there is formal education that actually works, that we have proven has worked in multiple jurisdictions, multiple countries, multiple languages, and yet at the end of the day, they don't know that operators like you and I exist. So it's usually a conversation.
So what I will say, I'll put that in more direct and layman terms, is if you are in said geography that Jay is referring to, and you're listening to this right now, Jay and I have talked about how to approach this. And first and foremost, we want to get everybody together, all the operators together, whether we go have breakfast or a cup of coffee or whatever, and talk about everything, make sure everyone's voice is heard and all of our concerns are laid out on the table. Secondly, from that information and with a lot of the information Jay just shared, put together a game plan for Jay and I. The reason why I inserted myself into that, because this particular owner I was the first person onto these properties. So there's somewhat of a relationship there, but we want to make connections in the corporate office. They have a new CEO. They have no operations officer any longer. So there's a lot of new people that are probably making assumptions and decisions based on fear. Yep. And we want to go in representative of a business and a network of businesses and make our case and explain to them how we ultimately can serve their business. And do so in a responsible, how we can in the future, and why this is as responsible thing that they can do as it says as responsible thing as they can do.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. That's why we understand. This is what I identified in the space when I was first researching and looking at it. I saw that there was no organization behind how people were attacking. I mean, you guys have seen, you have witnessed, you have received income based upon a very structured system that has the ability to produce it, and they don't know that it exists. They don't know. I mean, most people just think, hey, you heard about this last night at 2 a.m. and you're like, hey, I'm going to experiment on your property, and whatever happens, it's not my property, and I'm going to run the other way. They don't know that you guys are who you are. They don't know who we are. As you saw in the intro, where I literally say, well, what happens when the marketplace finds out who we are? What happens? And that's part of the reason why we're constantly working to grow all of us. Because there are systems, there are procedures that you've been taught that are not common, that nobody else knows, including them. And we're the only ones that have it. And that's why we're doing our best to make sure that we continue to wear the flag, carry the banner, whatever other phrase that fits, in order to make it happen.
All right. That's all the questions for the day. It's all the time that we have.
I got nothing else.
That's all she wrote.
So hold on. We gotta hear from the peanut gallery. These two.
Peanut gallery, come on in. Let's go.
I'm curious. What was it? You saw the secret sauce,
Right.
Okay. So was this a different experience this way? Did you learn anything physically being here that you could not have learned by watching?
Chris, go first.
Yes, step right there.
There's a lot that goes into this whole operation. It's very simple from the Facebook perspective, but I see that there's a lot that goes into this behind the scenes.
Yeah, so you might not, for what you're really saying is, you may no longer wonder, what's up with the sound, guys? Let's get why can't you go live?
Be patient. They're working on it.
Exactly, right?
Well, I honestly just have to second that same thing. It's being back here behind the scenes, like Jay said, there's a lot of secret sauce going on back here. I'm just happy that I had the privilege to actually come back and hang out with Jay and Robert during this. There's so much cool stuff back here. I just can't stop touching and staring at stuff. So I'm just going to back up real quick.
That's awesome. Well, as I said, guys, we're here to continually serve as much as we possibly can. That's the goal, is to make sure that you guys have the best and latest and greatest of information. For those of you who are watching the replay, come join us on cashflowdiary.com/mastery. Those of you already in the mastery group, you know it's long overdue for you to come and join us where the real fun is, inside the student group, because we're definitely looking forward to having you as well. Nonetheless, it's been fun talking to all you guys today. We definitely look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.
Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook, because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?